Hello and welcome. Today we're working on how do we forecast an income statement. It's going to be for 5 years. We have assumptions we're going to use, and so we're going to do all this in Excel, and we'll show you how to do this step by step. Hey, if you're new, my name's Jeff from Finally Learn. I teach financial literacy and how to do financial problems, and I just use Excel all the time. So let's look at our income statement. Here's what an income statement can look like. We have revenues. Revenue is what we receive from customers. And then we have cost of goods sold. And cost of goods sold is sometimes called cost of sales or cost of revenue. This is how much our product or service costs. And then we subtract out revenues minus cost of goods sold, gives us gross profit. That's our first definition of profit. It's the bigger number. When we get down here, we'll have net profit or net income. And then we have some operating expenses. Operating expenses would be things like selling, general and administrative. Here, G&A is for general and administrative expenses. Then we have depreciation, and then we'll subtract those two and get operating profit or earnings before interest and taxes. Then I've got interest revenue and interest expense. If we invest some money and we receive interest, that's interest revenue to us. If we borrow money and we owe interest, then that's interest expense. Then we subtract those out and we get the earnings before tax or EBT. Sometimes that's called pre-tax income. And then we have taxes, and then we have net income. So let's get started with our assumptions. So here's what we have. Let's pretend everything that's in blue is an input variable. I've just typed those numbers in. Everything is changeable. And so what we have is we have units sold. The previous year is 6,000. And we're going to say, hey, it's going to grow at 2%. So let's say that each year we think our units sold is going to grow. So we're going to multiply that times, start with 1 plus, and then the 2%. And so what we have, a 2% growth in units sold. We're going to sell 6,120. And we can copy this all the way across. I can take the bottom right-hand corner and click, left click, and drag, and that makes a formula all the way across. So I'm taking the previous year, year 4, times 1 plus the 2%. We can do the same thing for the sales price. Let's assume the sales price grows at 3% each year. So we take the $50 and we'll multiply it times 1 plus the 3%. And that will be 5150, and then that will grow, taking the bottom right-hand corner, left click, and drag it across, and that creates the formulas all the way across. We can copy and paste if you want to. That's just the way I think it's a little bit easier if you drag that all the way across. So you see here I have a formula, and it's taking 3%. Now, there's nothing magic about this being 2% or 2% each year. We could make it 3%, we could make it 3.2, we could change the years. It could be growing faster or growing slower. And so all that can be changed. So we say, hey, I think this is going to be 4%, or what would happen if it were 4% in year 3? You see that everything gets updated. So I'm going to undo that. So now we have revenue. So let's go to the very top. And for year 1, we're going to take the units times the price. And so what we'll have is we'll have our total revenues will be something like 315,180. I'm going to copy this across, and we're going to have numbers we need to format. So let's highlight everything. Let's comma and then get rid of the decimals. We don't need the pennies. And so we have 315,000. It grows to 331, 347, and so on. Now, to get cost of goods sold, we have some expenses, some assumptions here. We say, hey, the cost of goods sold is going to be a percent of the revenue. And selling, general administrative, or S&A, or G&A. I called it G&A up above, so let's call it G&A down below. That's 22%, so let's calculate those. So our sales, our revenue, times the cost of goods sold percentage, which is 58%, and then we can copy that all the way across. Our gross profit is going to be 315 minus the 182, or we can go ahead and make the 182, let's make it negative, so we can easily see, hey, this is a negative number we're going to subtract. And then we can add right here, 315 plus the 182. We know our gross profit is 132. Same thing all the way across. Now for G&A expenses, we're going to say make it negative 315 times, and I have a percentage down here, 22%. Once again, you can change those percentages. And so that makes it a negative 69,340. Copy it all the way across. Now, let's skip and do depreciation here in just a minute. So what we would have is, we would have the sum of 63,000. So we can do that. We can start with, I did a keyboard shortcut, but there's a couple of different ways to do this. You can put equals, start typing sum, parentheses, and you can add those three numbers together. So there's our sum, the operating profit. We can calculate that all the way across and copy it all the way across. Now let's do interest revenue and interest expense. We'll get to depreciation here in just a little bit. So interest revenue, let's say that we have our marketable securities, we have some short-term investments, and here is our given inputs for marketable securities. And we think that our interest rate is going to be 3.7%. Now, you could make it 3 or 4 or 3.2 or whatever. These are just the inputs that we have. So to calculate interest revenue, this is going to be a positive number. So I'm going to take the 6,000 times 3.7%. That means we think we're going to earn $222 and then all the way across. So we earn a little bit of interest revenue. Now interest expense is going to be a similar thing. Now on interest expense, we're going to assume we have a short-term line of credit and a long-term interest rate, long-term debt. So we have short-term debt, long-term debt, and we're going to have short-term interest rate, long-term interest rate. So we have a blended rate. So I need to figure out the short-term interest is 1,400 times 4%. And I'm going to take the 40,000 times 7%. So that's our two amounts of interest expense, short-term interest and long-term interest. And so I need to add this up. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to sum. I can use the summation button here. I can use a keyboard shortcut. The keyboard shortcut, Windows people, it's Alt equals. I'm on a Mac, so this is Command-Shift-T, and that gives me the sum of those two numbers. So I'm just going to copy it all the way across, and now we have our interest expense. We're going to put that interest expense as a negative number, so it's going to be equals negative 2856, and we'll copy it all the way across. So our earnings before tax, I need to add that up. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-T. Now, the other thing I can do is I could do it for an entire range. The total of these three numbers is 60,402. And so what we have is earnings before tax. Now we'll have taxes. We have a tax rate. I'm going to take the 60,000 times the tax rate of, we're assuming 31% is our tax rate. So we'll take the 18,000. We need to make it negative, so I'll put a negative in front of that little formula. And so therefore we're paying 18,000. And so therefore we have, I'm going to take the 60 plus the negative 18, so that's the subtraction. We get 41,677 and then all the way across. Now we're almost finished with our income statement. We just need to calculate depreciation expense. So we have down here, we have depreciation. We are buying capital assets. We're buying plant assets in the amount of $42,000 before year 0. And then in the current year, $35,000, $38,000, and so on. So what we have, we assume that the useful life is going to be 3 years for these prior assets. And then we're going to assume that each of these assets we purchase are going to be a 5-year life. So we need to spend a little time figuring out the total depreciation. Now, for an asset we buy for $35,000 in year 1, we're going to depreciate it over 5 years. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the $35,000 divided by 5. 35,000 divided by 5, that's going to be 7,000 depreciation each year. I'm going to point to that 7,000. I'm going to copy it all the way across 7,000. Let's do year 2. So 38,000 divided by 5. That's going to be 7,600. I'm going to point to the 7,600. And that's going to be the same amount each of the years. So we do that for the next 3 years here. I'll do it quickly. 40,000 divided by 5. That's 8,000. So it's 8,000 all the way across. 37,000 divided by 5. That's 7,400. And the last one is just going to be the 35,000 divided by 5. And that is going to be 7,000. So we have depreciation each year. So I need to figure out the total depreciation here. So that is the sum of all those numbers. I can calculate that and copy that all the way across. So what we have is, for the prior year assets depreciation, it's going to be 42,000 divided by 3. That's going to be 14,000 for year 1, 2, and 3. And then it's going to be 0. So we're going to stop. And then we'll take the current depreciation each year of 7,000 for each of the plant assets that we buy, or the capital expenditure, or CapEx. So therefore what we have is we have a total of 21,000 each year, and then it goes 28,600, 36,600. So we need to now put that in our depreciation. That's our last piece on the depreciation expense. So it's going to be equals a minus. Depreciation expense is going to be 21,000, and then we copy it all the way across, and you see our net income goes down to 27,000, 25,000 at the end of year 5. So you can see we have forecasted a 5-year income statement using assumptions. So if you like this, if this is helpful, I've got more videos on. I've got a full 3-statement model where you do an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement all together. But I'm breaking this into components where we have an income statement. We can figure out how to do that just by itself. Next one we'll do is a balance sheet, and then we'll do the cash flow statement based on that. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.